Welcome to Get Going Fast. This is our live Q&A edition here. Now, normally we going to be doing this. We were doing this on Wednesdays. Going to be interesting to see. Going to be interesting to see how many people show up because we're changing days. But the whole idea was that now normally we going to be doing this. We were doing this on Wednesdays. There you go. That started up because it was. I always have to make sure I go actually going live. But normally we're doing this on Wednesdays, and I just kind of started thinking, on Mondays we have our, we start the week, and then by Wednesday it's only a couple days into it. So I thought, well, maybe it'd be better if we push this to Fridays, because then we can actually work on your guys' projects. So we'll see how it goes. Again, this is a time where you guys can come in and bring your questions. We'll work on something. We'll do the work here together. So really good stuff. So I'm checking some messages here. Bop, 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 bop. Kind of chatting around as usual. I kind of just chit and chat here for a minute while we waiting for people to pop in. Let's see here. We're getting messages come from my comm badge here popping in. We'll see if that's anything important while we're waiting. No. Okay, so 9-layer Nige popped in. He says, apologies in advance, been at the coal face all week grinding out my latest vid. Probably won't make the 9:30 live as I've been up since 6 a.m. Right, yeah, so Nige is from the UK. And so, he's across the pond. So he doesn't always make it because it gets a little bit late by then. Real difficult finding a good time that works for everybody. On Mondays, we come in at 8:30 in the morning, and 8:39, probably 9:30 maybe. That works a little bit better, okay? As long as we're all out of bed. So, okay. Anyway, I guess we can get going. If you guys are here, let me know you're here. Say yo, say hi, so I can see what you're up to. And of course, we're always competing for this top fan up here. Oh. MT0 just popped and said WAN 2.2 with GGUF or FP8 for 16 gigabytes VRAM. He wrote gram, but I understand he means VRAM because we're not selling WAN 2.2 in little plastic baggies. Like here's a gram of WAN 2.2. Although people would probably buy it. So Mike K pops in. Mike, good to see you. He says hi. Friday's okay for me. Mike, good to see you. Mike is one of our blue stars there, so he's a special fellow, so we always go, hey Mike, what's up? You guys can join in as blue stars too. You get a little special attention because you got a star there. You show that you were like, hey Mike. So welcome Mike. Feta just popped in. He's Get Going Fast royalty over here. He's like one of those princes that you see in Dune, like he's like all like this, bunch of like gold bars up here and looking kind of weird, but like he's royal. That's Fidel Kuhn. Welcome, Feta. He's like my Viking brother. Always good to have you. He's Blue Star too, so whap him on the butt. Welcome, Feta. And Mitziris is back. He's apologizing for saying gram instead of VM. No need to apologize. I should be thanking you because you brought comedic points for me to riff off of. You helped me with filler. So, but good point. He is talking VRAM. He's talking WAN 2.2. Which, of course, is what we want to talk about. So I'm going to go ahead and rip up the Comfy UI. All right. And we're going to look at some different stuff here. Okay. Essentially, he's asking what's the difference between the FP8 and the GGUFs. Okay. Now, I could actually answer that right now really quickly. But I'm not going to. I'm going to drag it out. Make you guys have to make you have to work for it. But we'll get there. Really quickly, let's pop over here while my Comfy UI is loading up. By the way, we're focusing on WAN 2.2. I do want to point out that Flux Korea just came out, and Feta can tell you that it's better. He's already been working with. In fact, he's already training it. Okay, Feta is a trainer, yo. Better image quality. So one of the things that started happening with the old Flux Korea stuff was, or the old Flux was so good, but everyone kind of looked plasticky. They all looked the same. All the girls had the exact same like little, looked like they'd had boob jobs sort of things, silicone, everything. They've changed it up a bit, so the textures are actually better. They're even more realistic than they were before. So Flux Korea is pretty hot stuff. And we do have a model manager over there, by the way, so you can get the good gusts in the FP8. Okay, we're getting down here to, okay, here's our WAN 2.2. So we should be loaded up. I had a model manager here, and the model manager will get you going with both the good guffs and the FP8 with this. So let's see if we can pop over to Comfy. I think that it has loaded. Wait, why did you not? Oh, look at that. Oops, it was already loaded. So that's one of the things with Comfy UI. If you try to load two things at one time, it will not work. So, okay, here we go. Okay, so I run the Flux Korea. I'm going to go up here and open up the workflow for WAN 2.2. And, shit, I can't remember which one it is. Let's do the, oh, hell. Let's just do this one. Okay, this is the one that has the cause vid. Thing now. Okay, so I was reading a message over here. Feta is saying that he would love it if you can show a bit on the WAN text to image. I've got text to video. I didn't really know about text to image. Maybe he means Flux. By the way, every time you guys talk, you get points. And right now, Mike is in #1 place for comments. Fed is in #2. MT Zeros is in #3, and 9-Layer Nige is at 4. So if you guys want to get props for that, you gotta speak up, because then you get to rub it in everyone else's faces at the end of the day, which is important. Like, why be #1 if you can't rub it in someone's face? Be like, oh, #2? That's cute. All right? Yeah, but I was #1, so. Anyway, what they say, unless you're the lead dog, the view never changes. Hey-oh. All right, let's take a look at this real quick. So this is our basic WAN 2.2. This comes with the model manager, and you notice it's got both the diffusion models. It's going to be our FP8 stuff, and it's got our good guffs. Okay. Now over here, I went ahead and added the cause vid, and it does actually help. Even though this is, I'm using a 5B, this actually does help. It does speed it up. If I want to use the FP8, all I got to do is drag this model over to here. I just got to switch these out. Okay. See, like that. Click there. Click there. Okay, so what's the big difference? Getting back to your question finally, MT Zeros. What's, which one? Okay, so dirty little secret is that I have found that just using the FP8 with the diffusion models is actually pretty much the same as using the quants here. So I went up here, used a quant 8, all right, and it took just about as much time as it did running this one over here. So it's really up to you what you want to do. You do have to make sure that, notice over here on the diffusion models, I noticed I made a little error there. It wasn't set. This will be set on default. I actually need to resave this to make sure people aren't getting messed up with that. But notice you want to click it and you want to either choose as FP8 or FP8 fast. Okay, and that's going to make sure that it pulls it down. So this is actually an FP16, so it's already half the, so I believe the full thing is 32, and then the 16 is going to be half that, then 18 is going to be half that, of course, and then all these kind of get smaller and smaller. But the answer that I drug you all the way to here for is that I haven't seen any difference. It don't really matter. Again, some people like GGUF models. Some people like the FP8 models. Again, you can play around. If you're having a hard time getting these running because your card ain't that great, pop it down and do, listen, you could try a Q2. Here's a Q2, okay? I mean, I just almost like, why bother? But give it a go. Give it a go, yo. I mean, maybe you'll get to, I would rather produce something than nothing. And that should speed it up quite a bit, okay? I'll show you some of the stuff that we've done here. Really quick, let's go back to the comments. Fed is like, nah, I mean WAN text to image. But never mind if you're not into it yet. Yo, of course I'm into it. I just didn't talk about it right now, man. What are you implying? I'll put my hat sideways, be like, what's up? But no, I don't usually mess around with text to image with this kind of stuff because I'm like, why bother? I got Flux, but I guess I'll have to look into it. Bluebell just popped in. Good to see you, Bluebell. Hi, guys. Good show. Yeah, awesome to have you back. Bluebell, you make it the best show. It's a good show, but Bluebell, when you show up, it's the best show. So thank you for showing up. Mike K again is going, yo. Malcolm's here. Malcolm, welcome. Malcolm's been around forever, yo. He's over there hanging out with the king, doing all that British stuff over there. And it's always good to see Malcolm as well. He says, I managed to get a workflow with a video upscale. Cool. Send it over. We've got a few video upscale softwares over at Get Going Fast that we use. Let me see here if we can find that software. I want to find the software, but I don't want to expose the back end of the Get Going Fast to you guys, because whenever I go there, it shows all of my personal details. Let's see here. I'm going to just do a real quick search for upscale. I just recently did some upscale, so let's go over here. Here's this real scaler. I think I put this up sometime ago. That was back in January. Listen app. Boy, this is going back. This is all the way back to last year. This is when Flux first started coming out. Okay, well, shit. I actually had a... Let me go to list.get going fast. I know that I just did some more upscalers, so let me go to video gen, possibly. Oh, okay. I'll have to look into that and get you the links for that, because I definitely did put up a few other links. But Malcolm, I'd love to see your video upscaler as well. So send us the link. Okay, AI videos. Are there any speed up lowers for 5B yet? Yeah, the CosVid is working. So people are, this says the 14B. They're saying LoRa's don't work for 5B, but it actually is. I've been generating 5B with CosVid in a minute and a half when I use it. Okay, now you do need to tweak around with it if you're going to use the CosVid with this. I had to play around with my settings here because I was getting garbage. I landed on a config of about 3.8 sampler. I used Euler. I was playing around with the different samplers, and I just went up to Euler again. 8 steps. I'm getting stuff. So and it's faster. Now over on WAN 2GP, they're giving you the opportunity to use LoRa's with it, but it did not work for me there. But it worked in Comfy UI. Now I need to obviously get on here and be taking a closer look at this stuff, because this stuff happens so fast that, like, I mean, literally, like, in a day, all of a sudden everything can pop out and go crazy. Yeah, AI video, the CosVid for 14B is working for me. I mean, unless it's an anomaly and I'm just reading it wrong, it's working fine for me. And it's part of the model manager as well, so you can just download that. Okay. MT0 says, I read that GGUFs work better with LoRa's. I don't know if that's true or not. Let's do a web search on that. Let's actually go to ChatGPT. And let's go, yo, chats. Got a question. Do GGUF models work better with LoRa's than FP8 or than FP models? Let's see what it says. And this is not really. GGUF models and floating point models handle LoRa's differently, but one isn't inherently better. So it says GGUFs, because they've been compressed, the fine great waves are less precise. So LoRa's, which rely on precise weight deltas, often have less notable or slightly degraded effects. FP, they're full precision. LoRa works best with these because the original weight resolution is intact. Trade-off: greatest grip for running large models and limited hardware. We've got maximum fidelity. FP16 is the way to go. So, okay, so the answer that chat is telling us here is no, actually not. So the reason being, again, GGUFs, what we're doing when we take a GGUF model is we're taking a number and we're literally cutting off the tail. Imagine your cat has a tail this long and it can't fit through the door, so you just cut off part of its tail. And it literally has half a tail now. Okay, and that's what GGUF models are doing. You're just getting rid of a bunch of data. The floating point models, you're not like getting rid of the data, but you're actually making it less precise. So they do a calculation where they say you got a number that goes out to, you know, the 100,000th decimal point or something. They do stuff and they pull that into like a hundredth. So like 2 decimal points. So you might have 5 decimal points, and they do mess so they can get a 2 decimal point number. So they're not actually cutting out information, but they're kind of neutering it and they're shrinking it. Okay, and then technically you can bring that back again, but it's like I guess it's like one of these sci-fi things, like you can shrink the guy, but bringing them back is something missing. So it doesn't they work differently. So saying that LoRa's work better with the FP models, because FP, you're not actually really getting rid of stuff, and LoRa's are trained on the full stuff. So it works best. But, you know, they all work great. What you can do if you're using a GGUF and having a problem with your LoRa's is just go ahead and increase the level of strength for the LoRa. Okay. Mike says, crashed rig, ran out of drive space on C and drive. What's a good size for C and D drive during installs? So he ran out of RAM, crashed rig, ran out of drive space. Yes. Now, C drive is a rough one because that's where your Windows is typically going to be installed. And so when you go there, the problem that you're typically going to be having is you're competing, you're chewing up your system space. I try not to install anything on my C drive. It's difficult, especially when you're using things like Conda and that sort of thing, because that goes into your C drive. Or if you're using stuff directly from the Hugging Face repository, it downloads. So you got to keep an eye on that. I have, I think, 2 terabytes on my D drive. I used to have another drive, and it actually crapped out on me last year, and I should have got it replaced, but I didn't. But now I've actually bought a 20 terabyte hard drive, actually just a hard block, and I store most of my models on there, and it's kind of hit or miss. The good side of it is it can store so much. The bad side is it actually does slow down my computer in ways that I don't like. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to grab some random 2.2 videos. I think I already made videos of all these. I think you've actually seen all these. Oops. Oh, come on. These are all using, I guess these are all using the FP8 model here. It's pretty incredible, honestly. All right, any rate. Oh, Red Tash popped in. Good to see you, Red Tash. I saw a new Triton came out, but according to WCT Audio, since its release, Windows only works with PyTorch greater than 2.8. Okay, so he's saying he's got a new Triton, but it's really only going to work with the 50 series. That's what I think he means by that, because I'm not sure what he means by Torch 2.8. Let's see here. Well, does Torch 2.8, my question is going to be, does Torch 2.8 only work on the 50 series? Because typically when you're doing Torch, let's go to Torch install. If we go over here to get started, see, we get our torch with CUDA. Now our CUDA 12.8 only works for the 50 series, but our 12.6. So I wonder, can you get torch 2.8 with CUDA 12.6? It's going to be the question. So it looks like you are, according to this. Let's check out this previous PyTorch. So the last one, yeah, so actually, so Red Tash, I'm not certain why we wouldn't be able to use the new Triton then. So a new Triton came out, but according to this other dude, since its release, Triton only works with PyTorch greater than 2.8. Part 2, to install Triton 3.3, prevent breaking with your installed PyTorch, your new is released feature, you need to limit the version to, okay, so here's going to be what I'm taking it as problem. I'm going to copy this Red Tash's comment here. Let's go back over to someplace where you can read it. I'm just going to post it so you can look at this. Okay, so he's saying to install Triton 3.3, or I guess the new one, you need to limit the version to be 3.0. Now, he says it's going to break your installed PyTorch, but my question, can you guys, okay, let me ask, can you guys figure out what's kind of wrong with this statement? Like, I'm going to give you a hint here. I mean, maybe I'm reading this wrong. Breaking with your installed PyTorch. That's going to be the key here that I'm going to tweak on and say that something is not correct. Okay, can you figure out what it is? Okay, here's it is. This, to me, looks like you're not using a virtual environment. I don't just install Torch. So this, if something new that I'm adding is breaking my Torch install, then I'm going to ask, well, why? And then I'm going to say, because you're installing it in your base system. If I'm using a virtual environment, Python-env, right? And then, oh shit, I went ahead and enter. What a turd. Okay, if I go ahead and I do that and then I call it, then scripts, activate. Then I'm going to go in here, I'm going to go pip install torch, torch audio, torch vision, whatever, you know. Or I'm going to go pip install my PyTorch. This all is PyTorch, but yeah, pip install. And then it's going to go here. And then if I go do Triton elsewhere, it's not going to affect it. Because the only way I can affect it is to get in my virtual environment. So then if I'm in somewhere else, I mean, in here, it's not going to matter. Pip install Triton. Are you guys understanding what I'm talking about here? So Red Tash, the answer to your question is just install it. Just make sure that you're using a virtual environment. So I'm not, yeah, I'll look into that. I'll see about upgrading the Tritons. Sometimes these things don't really make that big a difference to trade it up, but you know, I guess in the future when I'm using Triton, we'll do that. Okay, I think let's go back here really quickly to. I feel like I lost you guys. I feel like I started babbling and you guys just kind of went glossy-eyed on me. Malcolm says, I'm thinking of installing Sage Attention. If as you found it, you get 30% increase in rendering output speed. Yeah, Sage Attention is great. It's huge. But again, install it in your virtual environment. Don't install it on your system, okay? So, in other words, on your desktop, you should have a text file. And in that file, have your Sage Attention or your Triton install, and then when you're working on stuff and you're creating a virtual environment, just go copy and paste it. So you're pip installing the new Sage. If you're going to use it with Comfy UI, that's great. Open up your Comfy UI, open up the virtual environment, and install it. But don't just install it. You guys should never be installing stuff directly on your thing. Here, I'm gonna do one of these real serious look at the camera things. Don't ever install stuff directly onto your base environment. Okay, now that that's been said, you just don't need to. Your base environment should actually have almost nothing on it. There's only a couple things that I install on my base environment. That's things that I want to have system-wide access to, like YTDLP. YT-DLP, that's my YouTube downloader. I don't need to have a virtual environment every time I run that. I just, whatever, I install that on my basic. But things like Sage, of course I don't want to install it on that, because I'm going to have 5 different apps that I'm running, and they might all have conflicts with Sage, and then one's going to override the Sage that I have, and it's going to make these other ones not work, and then I'm going to fix that, and this one's not going to work. And then even if I'm using virtual environments, sometimes the stuff on the base system bleeds through. So there we go. Okay, good. Mike is still there, and he appreciates my my ramblings. I appreciate that. Let's see who's in number 1 here. Top fans. All right, who it is? Mike K is at number 1. Feta rocked into number 2. MT Zerus, you let Feta push up in front of you. Don't let him do that. These Nords, they're like that. So you got to push Mount Zerus and get it up there. AI Videos at number 4. Red Cash at number 5. Malcolm, I'm sorry, bro. You're falling down to number 6. You got to push up there. Bluebell, so good to have you. You're number 7. You're going to have to kick it up here. I'm going to have to come create a graphic that shows, like, people like running or horses going on a track or something like that. Okay. You guys have any other questions here before we move on with the day? I'm going to give you a minute because I want you to think about what you're going to be working on this weekend. Okay. The main purpose of this is I want you to think about, what are you going to be working on this weekend? What do you need to know now, so that when you get to going, you've got your answers questioned. You've got your answers questioned? No. My answers are the ones that are generally getting questioned. You get your questions answered. Right. So I'll give you a minute here. I'm going to clean up my screen. While I'm waiting for you guys, wait. Mike says, when you do your processing, does it have to have internet on, or can all run standalone? You can do all of it offline. So because the server is your machine. So you have to be online to download the models, but once you're running it, you're gold. So what I do is I open up, when I'm making my videos, like, the giant beasts or whatever, I typically load up WAN2GP, okay, and then I create a queue. I just queue up a bunch of stuff. I usually try to get 50 things. You said I created a little JSON creator so it does it fast for me, but I just load this into here and I go to bed, and like 6-7 hours later they're all done, by the time I wake up. So yeah, so like over here, like this, let me show you this real quick. Let's go to this command line. Okay, so like this is my WAN2GP server. Okay, if I click generate over here, it's gonna probably screw up everything. Notice it starts moving over there. Okay, I'm gonna abort this because I don't want to lock down my system, but as long as this server is running, you're gold. Okay, I'm going to give you one more minute here. You guys really should be playing with WAN2GP. It's awesome. And I guarantee, because as soon as stuff comes out, this guy gets it up there. In fact, if we go to WAN2GP.github, let's see, he might have even updated today. So his last update was 2 days ago. Yeah, and he got WAN 2.2 Part 2 up there for you. So within another day or two, WAN 2.2 is going to be fully supported with LoRa's and speed ups and all that kind of stuff on this piece. As far as I'm concerned, this is the best app there is for video stuff. I'd say Kobold CPP is my absolute favorite chatbot application. I think it's the most functional app that there is out there. And I would have to say that WAN2GP is up there. I'd probably put them, if I was like a gunslinger and I had to have my 2 pistols, I'd have my Kobold CPP and my WAN2GP. Like that. So you definitely should get both these apps. Okay, I think we'll end it here. Again, let me know what kind of projects you're working on this weekend. I would love to see what help you out. Come over to the Discord. You're welcome to chill with us over there. And honestly, the more people go over there, the better it is, because then you guys can actually chat with each other. So I'm not always around, and so that's why it's best for you guys to get your thing going. But you can come over here and especially we've got like our video channel here. Come in here and post your video stuff. Where did it go? Video generation. Share what you're working on. People will talk about it and stuff like that. You got your image generation channel. This is all done with Flux Korea here. So, but yeah, come hang out with us. Would love to have you. Malcolm says, when I am rendering a video out, I watch YouTube videos on new AI videos. Yeah, that's smart. So, okay, I'm gonna let you guys go. Have a good weekend. I'll be around. I'll be around-ish. So I've got company. I got pretty company. So hopefully we'll be spending some time outdoors. But I will be around, and we will chat you up as we go. So with all that, I think we will say